Welcome, friends. It's almost midnight, and you've found your way to the PikeCast. We've covered so many of the books of the most formative writer of our young adult days, Christopher Pike. But there's a new show in town. From the creator of The Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass comes the Netflix adaptation of The Midnight Club. For 10 weeks, we'll tackle one episode per podcast in a freewheeling and unbiased chat. So turn down the lights, pop some popcorn, and pull a blanket over you. And ready yourself for the PikeCast, The Midnight Club. Greetings, fellow Pikers, and welcome to the PikeCast, The Midnight Club. I'm Cooper Beckett, and I'm thrilled to be joined by my lovely co-hosts.
Hello, I'm Cassie.
Hi, I'm Becca.
We've switched formats to cover Mike Flanagan's 10-episode adaptation of The Midnight Club. This week, we're delving into Episode 4, Gimme a Kiss. We're going to be going through the entire episode, but not beyond, so spoiler warning up through Episode 4. If you're enjoying the PikeCast, please leave us a review on the podcast service of your choice. Welcome back, ladies.
Hi. That was a new transition, Cooper.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know why I did that.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Oh, well, good. Let's dive right into Remember Me, which is our plot discussion. So, Gimme a Kiss begins with a gray and white logo, which I don't know that I've ever seen on a Pike book. I thought they were just taking, classic Pike book cover colors, but I don't think I've ever seen a gray and white logo.
I do see why they did it, though, for this episode.
Yeah, I do, too, because we do have some noir in
Oh,
this.
my God. It just, clicked to me why. I was like, wait, why?
Oh.
Okay, so we begin right where we left off, in the basement's basement, the cult space, where Ilonka is alone still, and she looks, and now there's no old woman there. And that's the jump scare now.
I think you've got something there for people who are in a cult with a social media network branding, cult space. That's a really catchy...
Cult space?
Yeah.
That is.
That's like, can you add me on cult space? Like, of course. Like, let's be friends.
Right? A social network called Cult Space?
Yes, that's what it is.
My top 8.
Yes.
Oh, man.
The top 8 in my cult space. Like, what?
I feel like I don't want to start a cult, but I feel like I should just to take advantage of that idea.
Oh, so what you could do is it can be cult things, like movies and games and stuff like that people love, like cult favorites.
Now I have to see if that's available.
It makes
cult
it less
space.
evil.
Yes, and then we can all talk about the things we love.
Cult Space is copyrighted by Karsten Bach.
Who the fuck?
I don't know. It's just a picture of a guy, and it says "one more" at the bottom, and has his email address.
Wow, the actual audacity! I can't believe it.
I know. It is literally offensive.
It truly is. Well, there goes that pipe dream. So I guess there's a little.
That was very short-lived.
Yeah.
And Cult Space is also taken on Twitter, but nobody has turned it into a social network for cults.
They're missing out.
Yeah. I think you're right there. Okay, now I'm completely okay. Well,
it's what I'm here for.
So now Ilonka and Kevin bring everybody else down, and there is a really nice little moment with a mesh where he asks north, south, east, or west, which for those of my age, you'll remember as adventure games before there were graphics. Because the game would tell you what you're seeing, and it would ask you where you want to go. So you'd have paper that you'd have to map out your location.
Whoa, like physically with a hand?
Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't know where you were.
But
like you go north of space.
Later, you would need to know where like a pastime
sometimes
was.
Depends on how complicated the game was.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They didn't ever give you they didn't think like, oh, this is a good marketing thing. Let me give you a map.
No, the idea is you don't know where you're going until you go there.
Oh, so it's like procedure. It's like generated as you choose it. Like each one's random.
So, well, I don't know if it's random, but you shouldn't know where you're going.
So you get like A or B. You just
so it's like well, you don't hit A or B. You type north or you type south. And then
it's like a choose your own adventure book, but a video game.
It is.
Okay.
So Natsuki plays the game, Examine Room. Which is what you would do. You would say what you want to do and where you want to do it. And half the time, you'd be typing something the game doesn't understand. So it says, I don't understand Examine Room. But here, it's a mesh. So
wait, they didn't even give you a list of prompts, so you just had to randomly.
No, you had to get
what?
Games were tough when there
that
were no
doesn't sound
graphics.
like a game. A game is supposed to be fun, and that sounds like homework or something. Like that sounds like I'm taking a test. I'm just pulling answers out of nowhere and hoping for the best.
Yeah. Even when graphics showed up, you still had to do that kind of shit.
But like if you didn't know that was an option, how would you? What if you're? I just don't understand. How would you progress? You would just be stuck, and there's no video game magazine to write into and be like, "Here, website, help me, forum people."
Sometimes games were just hard then. So around this room, they find the hourglass is on the floor, the stars and moon are on the ceiling, and countryside paintings are on the wall, including the cliff next to the hospice. It gave me the feeling of what is the cover that's like a Greek or Roman ruins cover? The Immortal? Mm-hmm. It gave me a feeling of like that. Like that's what we were seeing. The Greek, what was it? Roman? Greek? I don't remember.
It's Greek in the book.
The Greek countryside around it. No. So they find a book called The Midnight Club. Not written by Christopher Pike. But that would have been really meta. But it's full of names and years, members starting in January of 1969, and founded by, dun, 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 Julia Jane. So Sandra freaks out because she finds a knife and a robe. And, come on, you combine those two things, you got a cult. But Amesh says Cthulhu Fatagan, everybody, which I love, Cthulhu Fatagan. No one else is talking, so I'm just going to keep talking.
I was thinking about the robe and the knife thing and how she could have been making toast, but I thought that might go off the rails a little bit and I might get yelled at again. Maybe she was chilling in the kitchen with her robe and her toast and her knife.
Yeah, the knife was in a scabbard, I believe. So
I thought you said toast.
Toast, like you're making bread.
Making toast
wait. Okay.
You got to spread the butter and the jam with the knife.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I guess I didn't put the
It was less a butter knife, so we don't blame you for not getting that there. Yeah.
No, but I mean, they just got to. Who knows what they had in the olden times? Maybe they only had one kind of knife. Double duty. It's for butter and killing.
Yeah, way back in 1969, the olden times.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Cooper. Whoops.
Everybody leaves except Kevin, Ilonka, and Anya, who stay down. They find listings of the stories in the book, which include The Visitor, Spellbound, and the Starlight Crystal, which I believe is the second reference to the Starlight Crystal in this book. Because wasn't Amesh's game the Starlight Crystal?
Are you talking about in the next episode?
I think you're talking about episode 5.
No, I'm talking about the first episode. He says he wants to make a game. Wasn't his game called the Starlight Crystal?
So knowing what I know now about the episode we do not speak of yet, that makes a lot of sense that would be his. You're right, Cooper. I think you're right.
That makes sense too. I won't speak of it until the next one yet, though.
So it's just weird that they would throw this out again. Unless it's going to come into play that somehow they are channeling stories from the past. Just a thought.
Wait, what?
Okay, so if the Starlight Crystal is indeed Amesh's game from the first episode.
That he was playing or that he was
talking about? Because Amesh wants to design games, remember?
Right.
That's why he's doing the north, south, east, west thing. Which, again, in 1994 is not how games were played, but that's okay. That's more, mid-'80s, early 80s.
This is getting mixed up because I'm like, you can.
So hold on.
Okay, because I'm thinking episode 5 big time.
Okay, but forget episode 5 because that has nothing to do with it.
Okay, episode 4.
In episode 1, when they're introducing Amesh, he says he's making a video game. He's designing a video game. And I think he said it's called the Starlight Crystal. So what I'm saying is, if that's true, which it might not be, this is all my memory, it's weird that one of the stories from the 60s was also called the Starlight Crystal.
Okay.
Unless the current Midnight Club is somehow channeling the old Midnight Club.
I get what you're
That's what
down.
I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So, as Cassie is the only one to have watched all of the episodes, I sense her quietness, meaning we should move on.
No, you can keep saying. I had my tab open for Netflix, so I just rewound it, and I'm watching his introduction to see where he says it.
Okay. But I'll move on. Yeah.
No, yeah.
So they get past the stories and then find bloody pages and the symbol of the hourglass. Then we move on to group, where everybody is very tired. Of course they're tired. They were up investigating a cult all night after their Midnight Club class. I mean, I really think they'd always be tired because of the Midnight Club.
And because they're sick, just in general.
Well, yes, also sick. Everybody should be tired. But Sandra goes all narc on them and starts guilting everybody by saying, we're all mourning Tristan, so maybe we're doing shit we shouldn't be doing. She doesn't say shit, though. And we're turning to things that aren't good for us. And then she starts pitching Jesus as a solution to their problem. And as an atheist, I was as mad as Spence is by this. But Spence shoots back with, your faith cost me communities, your faith cost me family, your God calls me an abomination, fuck you, fuck your God. So, I'm on board with that. Yeah.
I personally have seen it from both points of view. I'm not mad at Sandra. I'm going to go with Sandra on this one, Cooper.
That's fine.
I see both. I don't know. I guess it's maybe later on I started to soften up to Sandra, and that's why I feel this way now. But I don't know. She's not trying to attack anyone.
No, she's not. She's just doing the thing that Christians often do, where they assume their solution is everybody's solution.
And I agree with that for sure. But
which is especially insensitive if, and I don't know this, if she knows how Spence's family has reacted. We don't know. She may not. I think she does, which is especially insensitive, but she might not.
I'm so sorry. I hope nobody gets mad at me for this, but
why would anyone get mad at you?
Because I know how people I know the argument, and I don't think that she's in the right at all. I do think that's insensitive. I personally, she's a young girl. She was raised in this environment, and I kind of just feel like she's literally just trying to help, and she doesn't.
Sure,
yeah,
no.
I don't think she's attacking Spence, meaning to, even if she knows.
I think she isn't attacking him, but I think it's more about the impact versus the intent. She should be self-aware enough to know that that's not helping. If that helps her, that's fine. And that's what I think about all religion.
And she continues going on with it.
Even when he's made it clear, nobody's interested in it. They've all shut her down before. Nobody's telling her not to believe what she believes, but they're just saying we don't want this in our faces like this, and she just doesn't respect that repeatedly.
And that is definitely understandable.
I don't think
also, you're saying, I feel bad for her being the only one apparently at this place that believes that, because I do think everybody deserves their own religious opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And if religion is what is getting you through this horrible experience, it's not that different to suggest it to other people as it was when Ilonka said, hey, here's some tea.
Exactly.
Because this works for me. Does it work for you? No. So Spence specifically, though, has had extensive experience with religion hurting him. And that's where she comes across as insensitive. That's the only part, I think.
No, I agree with that, because that's like, he's like, oh, yeah, I got that tea made me really sick, and it doesn't agree with me. And she's like, oh, but really, you should try this tea. It's actually better for you than you think.
Drink it again.
Like,
yeah.
But I just told you that tea was not my cup of tea.
I get what you're putting down. I think later on, it's like when Sandra, I'm not going to like say what she like says later yet.
Oh, yeah,
but I do feel like that softened her up so that now that we're talking about it after I seen what had happened, like later in the episode, you get what I'm putting down? Like, because I know the future of this episode.
Yes, absolutely.
I do feel like that softened me up, so when we go back to it, I'm like, okay, she wasn't trying to be a dick.
Now, just to be clear, we can spoil this episode. You don't have to hold back on the end of the episode from the beginning of the episode. We can spoil the whole episode here.
We just don't talk about
order.
We just don't talk about what happened after. That's all.
Okay,
so let's go back out to the hourglass tree, and Shasta McHippie comes out of the woods again.
Before we talk about that, we should mention... Okay, wait, maybe you're about to say it, about how Ilonka's finally showing her drawing talent by drawing a simple crescent moon. She's finally showing it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yes. So she sees a crescent and GB on the back of the tree, and then draws the worst crescent I've ever seen, leading to two parallel lines at the bottom, which aren't going to connect, honey.
Why did you? It takes her like 6 lines to make.
I don't understand.
Like, it's bizarre.
And she outlines the GB for like really crescent with GB is all you have to write down here.
Yeah.
This is not.
It didn't need to take up a whole damn page either. Why didn't you at least draw the tree and put it on the tree so it looked a little bit cooler?
Yeah, this does not sell me on Ilonka's drawing skills.
That was just for you, Cooper.
They were like, oh, Cooper said that he wanted to see
Cooper wanted to see her draw, so here.
Yeah, he wanted to see it in action.
Yeah.
Bet you regret that.
Right. Is that the action you wanted, Cooper?
I don't know if Netflix is retroactively adjusting the show.
Oh my god, what if?
To my opinion.
So neat.
Look, I can't confirm or deny, but I will say that I do not remember seeing her draw that the first time I watched this.
Well, now I feel like I'm in my own Christopher Pike story.
They had to like rush it in really quickly and cut a new edit.
It's like, shit, we forgot about the drawings. So Shasta comes back out and tells her about the blackberry patch.
Why don't you eat the blackberries below the waist?
Because I think they're hanging down, so they're... I don't know.
I was confused by it, and she said it, and the other lady was like, yeah, definitely that. Everybody knows that. And it's like, what? What is this?
Possibly because other animals may have gotten to them?
And peed on them?
Well, I don't think about peed on them, but people started eating them.
I don't know why
I don't know, maybe peed on them. I don't know. It occurs to me I have no idea how forest animals pee.
Me neither. Eat blackberries.
Maybe peeing on the blackberries. But Shasta is from the Good Humor Wellness Company.
It does say you should never eat wild fruit that is lower than waist high because too many things can pee and poo on them.
Wow, Cassie.
And it has to do with like that thing about low-hanging fruit and how you're supposed to avoid the low-hanging fruit.
Shit!
Isn't that funny?
That is.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you for looking that up, Cassie.
Also, just so you guys know, this is my birthday, September 29th. It says, but the rule against eating blackberries after September 29th comes not from seasonality, but from the story of Michael, the angel from whom the day is named. What?
The fuck?
My birthday? I can't eat blackberries after that? What?
Well, anyways, in fairness, though, if it's from the Bible, there was not California in that time. So, they didn't know that blackberries could be available and plentiful at any time of the year.
Dang.
So,
they didn't live in Northern California where it is sunshiny year round.
That's the new California theme song.
So let's talk about Shasta having a company about wellness.
Oh, how convenient, too. Right. I love this company. By the way, that's mine.
By the way, I did that. And seriously, Shasta's now giving me vibes of evil.
Vibes of evil.
You all didn't go along with me when Heather Langenkamp was, so I'm not sure if you'll consider this either. What do you think?
I at this point I get creeped out vibes from Shasta because she is a weird lady in the woods, and that's something that I feel like we should just be wary of in general as a good life rule. Yeah. And she's also like so this is where she's walking up to her and she's like talking about the blackberries. So she's like, oh, by the way, do you know about the Paragon and the cult? And she's like, I don't know anything about cults, and then just moves on. How suspicious. You didn't answer the actual question though. Like, was that you splitting hairs? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know anything about cults.
Yeah, that was like, she just gives me I feel very suspicious of her.
I feel like I'm entirely too trusting, because if I ran into that woman in the woods, I would also have a conversation with her about tea. Like, I wouldn't even be like, oh, there's a weird woman in the woods. Like, I would never even think that.
Well, I would talk to her too, but I would more so be like, okay, I need to talk to her and make sure she's happy with me so she doesn't kill me in these woods.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, she is also monitoring the land. She's got cameras out there and came out because Ilonka was out there.
Okay. I see.
So,
which feels like she's hunting her down, just saying.
It does.
That reminds me of a movie I've seen kind of recently that I can't think of, maybe it was a book, and there was like a bunch of like cameras in the woods, and they were like stalking this girl. Does this sound familiar?
Like The Perfect Game? Is that what it?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, hang on. I think that's an older thing too.
Perfect Game is an older thing, yeah.
Is that when you hunt the people though?
Well, I mean, the most dangerous game is when they hunt people on the island.
That's the one. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. That reminded me of Shasta in this when she's like,
because the most dangerous game is man.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the big solution. That's the
what a
secret of it. Okay, so Shasta says there are 3 more carvings out there. So more for Ilonka to poorly draw.
Collect them all. It's like a little side quest.
It's like Pokemon. And then gives her phone number. And then finally someone mentions the Dewey Decimal System.
I know. Yeah.
And suggests that she should read some stuff in the library from these Dewey Decimal numbers. But Ilonka still isn't smart enough to think about the numbers she already has as part of the Dewey Decimal System. And I am more angry about that than I've been about anything on this show. Because she is supposed to be a smart girl.
That part was really annoying. The amount of time it takes them to figure that out, like the number of episodes, it's like, come on, this is so obvious when you first mentioned it.
Yeah.
I feel like they made us, they underestimated the intelligence of people for this particular plot line. Like, even, like, you heard me try to justify it in the beginning too, but the more it goes on and she's literally told, like, this number is this for religion, this number is this, like, you don't think, hey, this number I have is like a few hundred above that. Maybe it's also in a fucking library.
Maybe it has something to do with it. I don't
I guess she's been eating too many blackberries, drinking too much tea.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe the blackberries have fermented. And she's getting drunk off them.
Maybe she ate the ones below the waist.
She ate the pea blackberries.
Or the poop.
That can't be good for your brain.
So let's jump dramatically to Ilonka putting makeup on Kevin for Katherine's senior prom.
Am I the only one that thinks he looked the same before and after?
He looked exactly the same. Okay, Kevin did not look sick, really, yeah.
To be fair, a lot, I mean, they don't super look sick, like none of the kids,
don't.
But I mean, I feel like that could have
I mean,
been,
really, except for Anya, no one has been made to look sick on this show.
Yeah, and initially she didn't even look sick either. No. Like, it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's.
But Ilonka is clearly conflicted because I'm sticking with this that she's in love with him.
Oh yeah, you get those vibes big time. While she like when he closes his eyes and she like makes that face.
Yeah. Kevin looks in the mirror and says he looks like a skeleton that fell face first into a bucket of paint.
That's how you look, my dude. That's literally how you look. You don't look any different from last episode. You just look that way.
So Sandra comes in looking for Spence to bitch about Spence.
Okay.
And
see, that's fucked up.
It wasn't cool what he said. Yeah, that is cool. It isn't cool what she said. Yeah.
That part was a little
And then she's decided to bitch about people going in the basement. And what's wrong with things that are black and white? I love black and white movies. I'm not black and white, and it's really shitty that they keep saying that. So what this is, everybody, is hashtag not all Christians. That's what she's saying right there.
I can vibe with that.
Okay.
I get what you're putting down.
Now,
that scene was really messed up on her part.
do either of you remember where Kevin lived?
I'm assuming at home.
He has a room, and it's like
you're right, at home. But what city he lived in?
No, Nebraska's not a city, Cassie. Can you stop? My brain wants to answer things before I fully think them through.
I feel like he said Santa Fe.
That sounds
Did
like
he?
a thing that I heard in the show.
I don't know, but I feel like he said somewhere in California, and he is taking a limo from, I'm pretty sure, Washington State to senior prom with Katherine and needs to be back by midnight.
That seems like a distance.
I mean, no matter what, he probably lives a decent distance from the hospice. Right?
I don't know.
At least, let's say, an hour. At least long enough that you wouldn't take a limo from the hospice.
Is he is taking the limo from the hospice?
Well, the limo comes to pick him up at the hospice, yeah.
Okay.
And she's already dressed and he's already dressed. I mean, at that point, skip the fucking prom and just fuck in the back of the limo.
They spent more time in the car than they probably did at the dance.
Probably,
well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's like nice for them to have that together time where he doesn't have to be standing because he's sick. He can just like kind of hang out with her in the back of the limo and have like a fancy time drive. Like that might be nice.
Oh, I totally get that that's sweet and everything. It just seems weird to me that they would actually be going to the prom and coming back the same day.
Can I just, Cooper, the thing that Cooper's like, it just seems weird to me. Why don't they just stay and fuck in the limo? Like, I don't get it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal of driving all the way to prom. I don't understand.
I feel like he's just doing it for her, though. Like, it's just this is what she wants and expects. And it sucks that I'm like an hour and a half away. Ideally, I would only be 10 minutes away from my school like normal. But here I am in die folk home, like... You know, like on the cliffs of dying. Like, damn.
I would like our listeners to remind us where Kevin is from.
Yes, remember me, please, where Kevin is born and where he lays his head.
I mean, not his room, where he is from, where he saw his lived. We know where his room is. Yeah.
It's better than Ilonka's.
It is.
Ilonka and Anya got a boring ass basic hospital room, and fucking Kevin's room is like amazing, like cigar smoking, like gentleman's club room. It's so good. I'm so jealous. I would be mad if I were them. 2 girls in this room. Who's his roommate? Did he even have one?
Isn't his roommate not Spence? Isn't his roommate
Amesh?
Amesh? I
Maybe.
think it is.
Perhaps. Even so.
I mean, they've been in the room together before, so I think it's Amesh. Yeah. So here's Natsuki wonders why people call it necking. Of all the areas involved, they don't even neck doesn't even crack the top 5, which makes Amesh a little embarrassed because he's totally into Natsuki.
Why do they call it necking though?
I have no idea. It was the
made
50s,
up. It seems
probably.
like a term by vampires. Like, haha, let's go necking, and really they're just sucking your fucking blood. Like, what joke's on you, dumbass? Like, how sexy? Gulp, gulp, gulp. You know, like that seems like that could be a story. Like that could have been what happened. Maybe
it's because you'd have to keep like moving.
What?
Okay,
you have to keep moving your neck to like maneuver yourself in the process of necking. I don't know.
I really love that you're trying to figure this out, Becca.
I'm really wobbling my neck back and forth really as I speak, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, like you crane your neck, and then you have to. No, I don't know, but I feel like you have a lot of neck movement in the middle when you're necking.
Okay, let's ask our listeners to tell us why it's called necking.
Please, we want to know.
Yeah, we want to know. The world wants to know.
No, that's a different thing.
So Cherie, who I literally forgot was a character this far in the episode, and Ilonka stay behind. Cherie asks if Ilonka's okay, and she says, you know what I miss? My hair. And immediately I knew that Cherie was going to get her a wig, but so Ilonka didn't.
It's not subtle.
It's not subtle in
Ilonka
any
is a
way.
little bit slow.
It's very sweet.
I'm also
it is very sweet, and I like it. But Ilonka didn't. You didn't know? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make you feel foolish.
Becca, you didn't know? I'm sorry, Becca. I love you. I wasn't saying
no. When I watch something, I think I take everything at like face value. Like, I'm, like, learning with Ilonka, you know? So, like...
That's fair. So
well, I've noticed that. You don't think forward in books or
No, I
or
don't
the
think
show.
so. I think I'm, like,
and that's
in the
okay.
moment.
You know, that's actually, by not thinking forward, you don't get as bitchy as I do.
No, I have a good time.
See, I'm sitting
like,
here
wow,
complaining
this is
about
great.
literally everything, and you're just like, yeah, this is a show.
Right. That's kind of how it goes for me. Like,
And that's-
I'm just here to enjoy, you know?
I wish I could turn it off like you, Becca,
It's a really
honestly.
good
I
time,
wish I
Cooper.
could not be as much of a dick about
10 out
stuff.
of 10
No, I don't even
recommend.
think it's not even fully being a dick though, because like when I watched it, she was like, "Oh, I wish I had my hair," and then it goes to like Cherie's face, and I was like, "Bitch is gonna get her a wig." Like that was my
You're right.
first, yeah. But Becca's just like, "Oh man, if I didn't have hair, I would wish I had hair." Like,
You know
she's
what
just
I
like
was
empathizing
thinking?
in the moment, which
Yes.
is so nice.
When I was thinking in that scene, the only thing I was thinking, other than like what was going on, is Sherry, like Sherry wearing her shirt inside out in the scene. That's what I want to know. Okay. Like, that's
It's
what I
called
focused-
fashion, sweetie. Look it up.
That's
Okay,
what
so-
I was focused on.
It is really just a very different approach to watching the show between Becca and I think.
You guys should really try to be like me. It's a really fun.
It sounds great.
Just living in the moment.
It's good. It's good. It's a
Okay.
lesson in mindfulness.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Maybe you
Yeah.
should meditate and drink some tea before you
Becca,
watch an episode.
you really feel like you come from a world before the internet, honestly, because
I wish I. Well,
your approach to life feels pre-internet. You know, before everyone was internet dicky.
I like that. I think I'm gonna take that as a
it's really awesome.
Yeah.
This is in no way a diss. What?
I really appreciate it. That's really sweet.
Yeah,
The more you
really
stress that it's not a diss, the more suspicious I start getting, Cooper.
No, I don't think that, Cooper. I'm a very appreciative.
Good. I'm glad you
No,
don't think
I'm
that. I don't know
just
why Cassie's suspicious.
It's kind of like when I cook somebody.
I'm literally complimenting her,
I know, it was
and
just
now
funny.
you don't trust me.
No, I
Yes.
do. It's just because you were like, no, I'm being serious. I mean it, Becca. Becca, I am being serious. I'm not joking about this.
It's
You understand?
because I sound like a dick. The listeners have made that very clear.
I don't think that's true.
I get the good vibes. It's like when I cook
Okay.
somebody
Yeah.
dinner and I'm like, "Did you like it?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's good." And I'm like, "Are you lying to me?" Like,
No,
it
Becca,
sounds
I
like you're
really
just
fucking
saying-
liked it. It was delicious. I'm telling you. Listen to me. It was so good. It's the best dinner I've ever had.
And
Clearly,
she's
you're
doing an
lying.
impression of me, Becca. Do you hear that?
She did put on the Cooper voice
She
for
put on
that.
Sometimes,
the Cooper
though,
voice. She did
sometimes
that in the
gaps.
last episode too.
No, occasionally there's like a little bit gaps that sometimes remind me. You're sometimes doing the Kirk thing where you're just like, Becca, that is a really good dinner. I'm just being honest with you. I'm being honest. It is a good dinner.
I think you're giving me a headache from laughing.
I'm sorry, my own head, my blood pressure.
Whew. Okay, let's all
Okay.
breathe. Let's all breathe.
I can't breathe.
Tell you what,
This.
let's take a quick break,
Okay.
and we'll be right back with more of the PikeCast. Wow, friends. Where else can you get this kind of programming than the PikeCast? Nowhere, that's where. But we're trying to keep the lights on here. If you like what you're hearing and want it to keep happening, jump over to our Patreon at thepikecast.com/Patreon and throw us a few bucks to join our private Discord server. Higher tiers get books, stickers, bookmarks, and even personalized shirts. That's thepikecast.com/Patreon.
Once, Osgood and Frost were the up-and-coming stars of the burgeoning paranormal investigation TV show craze before a hoax put an end to their friendship, partnership, and television careers. Now, over a decade later, Prudence Osgood is a barely functioning alcoholic ghost hunter for hire. Her yearning for mystery and adventure is reignited when she receives a cryptic, untraceable email. She can't resist embarking on an investigation that tugs threads, winding through a sinister series of disappearances, her former partner's family, and a night 20 years ago when a semi blew a yellow light and nearly killed her. Reviewers are calling As Good As Gone a masterfully vulnerable and relatable 21st century horror story, and a bourbon-soaked supernatural mystery with sparkling dialogue that sticks the landing on LGBT characters, and main character Prudence Osgood, as tortured as she is clever, broken in all the best ways, and a true heroine for our times. Buy it today at As Good As Gone as a paperback, ebook, or audiobook narrated by me, JJ Ronvier.
Welcome back to the PikeCast. When we left off, Spence and RN Mark are talking again. Mark confirms he's gay, like actually confirms it in this episode, that his family was all pissed when he came out. And then Spence shows Mark a lesion, which sucks because that means he's gotten a lesion.
Lesion.
This is an AIDS thing.
Right. No, I didn't know what the actual term for that, but when you just said it, I thought you said legion, like with a G, and I was like, is that? I didn't know that's what that was called. No, yeah, but I understand. Sorry. Yeah. It was me mishearing and
Well, and here's the interesting thing, you know, when I was much younger and in the 90s, when like Philadelphia came out, we all knew that lesions meant, okay, you're on your way to the end because of AIDS. But it occurs to me that we don't see that in media anymore because the medication has gotten so good versus AIDS. So it's really interesting when I look at it like that, because in the 90s, when you would see this, it's like, okay, that's kind of end game here.
So that's why he was so serious about it, because it means like he's literally going to be dying soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when lesions show up, that means your skin can't even handle it anymore.
Okay. I didn't understand. I understood that it was bad, but I didn't quite understand, I think, the significance of the scene.
So it's interesting that the show didn't really explain why that was bad. But I guess they don't have to, because Mark is very serious about it.
Yeah.
And he talks about the new treatments are coming maybe in 1 to 2 years. And they were saying that all throughout the late 80s and all throughout the 90s, that better treatments are coming. And they didn't really come until much later. But Mark says, I know people way worse than you who lasted a lot longer than that. I mean, yeah, this AIDS storyline it's really serious. And it is incredibly good that people don't see it as serious anymore, because that means it's
gotten better.
It's gotten a lot better. Like it has gotten a lot better. And so this moment is huge if you lived through the serious part of the AIDS crisis.
I'm like super sad now, because when he's like, oh, the medication will be coming out, and like the way Spence looks at him, like,
yeah, like, oh, I don't have 1 to 2 years to
like, that is really heartbreaking. And now that you're teaching me about this, like, I'm really sad. Like, oh,
yeah. Well, is that? So I'm just trying to understand, is that like a guarantee, or is it like a sliding sort of scale where it's just like, okay, like I could have another 1 to 2 years, or it's like, okay, no, I have this spot.
Well, no, I mean,
I'm definitely going to be
AIDS works different for everybody.
Okay.
But basically the way AIDS worked is it knocked out your immune system completely. Mm-hmm. So you'd usually die of like pneumonia or something. But the lesions on your skin is the biggest organ in your body. And so it indicates that is breaking down now.
And that's the final thing.
And I mean, it's not the final thing, but it really, really just reinforces you're probably going to catch something really soon that will be the reason you die.
I see.
Yeah.
I love Spence.
Yeah.
And now that I've explained all that, I worry that I'm wrong about some of it. So I apologize to our listeners who actually know more about the AIDS virus than I do.
And if you want to give us some information on
Yeah,
it, we welcome that as well.
We definitely welcome that.
We
But
are
yeah,
here
this
for
is a
learning.
big moment for the character to realize his mortality is more at hand than he probably thought. And I imagine Spence as a gay man in the 90s with AIDS is often thinking about his mortality. After his scene with Mark, Spence is walking past Tristan's room, which is right outside, and there's static on her intercom, and then it calls his name. And the room is locked, but it says, "Spence, listen," and it's a woman's voice, I think, but a whisper. So Spence runs and tells Mark that someone's in the room, and the room is locked, but the room isn't locked. So this is, again, seemingly Tristan reaching out from the afterlife. Which I, again, complain because it would be more meaningful if we knew Tristan at all. But it is what it is. Anya is awakened by Ilonka puking in the bathroom. So Ilonka's medication is obviously fucking with her. Anya takes her own morphine pill and then knocks. And this is a nice exchange. Don't they have you on something for nausea? They do, but side effects include nausea. And as someone who has taken something for nausea, I will confirm that side effects often include nausea. It is bizarre. Anya talks about her orphaned morphine pills, which she calls Orphine, and is very excited about it.
She has the best one-liners, I tell you.
She does.
She's great. Yeah, and that's a nice little moment there. But then we go to the library, and here it is confirmed: the room with the windows and the crane folding is, in fact, the library, just a different angle of it. We didn't see it before.
Mm.
So the Midnight Club, Kevin is back. He was so brave. Very brave to be there. He got compared to grandparents, an uncle, and a dog, and was made prom king as the rest of the hospice kids expected he would. Spence brings wine. Sandra seems like she's going to say some shit, but then everybody sees the lesion, and because, as I mentioned, lesions mean pretty much death, everyone recognizes the gravity of that. Spence doesn't want to talk about it, so he starts the meeting, and Sandra begins her story, Gimme a Kiss. So as Sandra mentioned, she really likes black and white movies. So Gimme a Kiss is in black and white. And I'm going to tell you that I absolutely hated the way they adapted it.
I love it, Cooper.
Yeah, I thought it was such a cute little thing that they did.
I loved it.
And like the voice and everything.
The voice, the vibe,
Yes.
everything. Oh my goch. I was like, yes, I would watch the whole show in this.
Right.
Oh man.
It was such a fun little added experience.
It was. I loved it. It's so good.
Okay.
But I think you hate fun. I think that's what
Apparently I do.
fun.
Apparently I do.
That's what it boils down to, you fun hater.
Well, I mean, also, Gimme a Kiss has the coolest ending of almost any Pike story, where they're both in the room filling up with gas and hallucinating. And they didn't even bother with that at all here.
Yeah, I did. I have that as a note. Missed the laughing gas scene.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I liked about that book.
No, I agree. The book was not great, but so Sandra is Alice Palmer here, who has a toothpick habit. I'm pretty sure she was a smoker in Pike's book because a lot of people are, but she even has a little toothpick case. We start this story with Heather Langenkamp as Detective Fisher narrating like a hard-boiled detective.
Yes, so good.
Which is cool until that's no longer how the story's being told. Because Sandra is telling the story, not Heather Langenkamp's character.
I don't hear your criticisms, Cooper.
You don't have to hear my criticisms, but I am going to be criticizing. So the one thing this does is it makes this about Kirk and Jake being gay.
Can you remind me, was that like a part of the book?
I'm pretty sure
No,
Jake was Jane written in the book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
So it was just about an affair. It was about just being in love with someone. It wasn't even real, right?
No, yeah.
So
it was like a
here,
big crush or something.
And I wasn't sure because it felt like it went back and forth, but in reality, in this story, Jake and Kirk are hooking up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because sometimes it doesn't feel like it.
No, yeah, they definitely are, but Kirk is like the football dude, so he's like, oh no, I've got a girl. I'm not like that.
Jake is called to the principal's office for writing an article about doping on the sports team. But someone has printed his journal post everywhere, and his journal post is about him and Kirk.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know. So Jake makes a plan because everyone was upset, so he's going to make them kill him. Alice throws one of her favorite parties. I don't know. I think it's the fact that they're drinking Zima in a film noir. And yeah, Zima was a thing in the 90s, but it really doesn't belong in film noir.
I love it. It's such a funny combination. It's so good.
Okay, you're seeing the humor in it. I was not.
It's like if I went and watched The Big Sleep, but then they put parts of it in the 90s and didn't explain it.
Which would be fucked up and poor storytelling.
It would
You're
be
right.
hilarious and such a good experience, and that's one of my favorite movies. And I would still watch it the other way.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I feel like it's okay.
They pull out a Tamagotchi, and he's just like, "Hey, babe."
If they fucking pulled out a Tamagotchi in a Philip Marlowe story, that would be terrible.
But like this is a Midnight Club story, so like
I know.
It's like I feel like you have somebody in the 90s telling the story.
Well, here,
not,
let me
necessarily
ask this.
making it.
That's a good point. See,
if her whole thing is loving the 40s and she's telling the story in 40s detective style, why is it set in the 90s? They're telling stories. They're not telling true things.
That's like, okay, so you're writing a story, okay? Like you're in the 90s, you're writing a story, like you're just adding elements of like the noir to the story. You're not necessarily placing it in that time period.
Okay.
You're just
yes,
trying to
she
get
gave it like a noir spin. Yes. Also, you could just say too, like because of her age and because she's the one telling the story, she's like ill. She's not thinking about the specifics. She's like, what? Like if she were telling a story.
So,
she's like,
so what you're saying is she's a bad storyteller.
No,
it
makes sense. It's not bad. It makes sense because it's like, what do I drink in the morning? I love orange juice. I'm in prehistoric times telling a story about dinosaurs. I still love orange juice, so I'm going to still drink orange juice. Right. I know that they probably don't have a carton of orange juice here, but here's my little Neanderthal fridge and here's my little carton of orange juice. Like,
that's so precious.
See,
okay,
I love it. I love it.
I'm just going to say that does sound like bad storytelling. If you're in prehistoric times drinking orange juice,
yum, delicious,
especially Tropicana, so labeled orange juice,
pulp or no pulp, which do you prefer? I got a whole selection. Outside, there's dinosaurs.
Cooper, let me ask you this: at any point in the story, does Sandra tell you, or I guess the Midnight Club, what year her story took place in?
No, but I know it's the 90s because they're drinking fucking Zima.
Wait, that's
what about the Flintstones? The Flintstones have a lot of things that were not actually in that prehistoric time.
Okay, you know what? The Flintstones is a prehistoric comedy cartoon.
So it's funny when it's the Flintstones, but it's not funny when it's my black and white noir.
You're right. You're right. Yes, it is not funny when it is my black and white noir.
Yes, it is. It's so funny.
Okay, let's also just say this is a terrible adaptation of this story.
Okay. No, this made me like the story so much more.
Because also, the boat thing, broad daylight, rather than at night when you could actually lose someone in the water. Broad daylight.
Dark, I can't see into the water.
Kirk jumps into the water with his fucking leather jacket on.
Yeah, why not? He was scared.
Flotation device built in. Come on.
Yeah, so when you're diving to see if you can find someone, you want a flotation device.
Maybe he thought about it as more of like a parachute. So when he was jumping down, he was like, "This will cushion my fall."
I feel like you're thinking too hard, Cooper, because I feel like
I feel like I'm thinking it all, and Sharon is not.
Well, no, he panicked and jumped into the water. I mean, his lover that he doesn't want to admit that he has is in the water. He's not giving a shit about that leather jacket.
Yes.
He's giving a shit about the guy.
How am I more water efficient? How can I swim like Ariel? No, he's like, gotta save my dude. Like that's what he's thinking.
Like he literally just panicked.
Yeah, that's what, and I would jump in. I wouldn't think like this isn't like, oh, let me take off my shoes and jewelry moment.
No,
like I'm about to beat her down. Like it's real quick.
Okay. I feel like even if I was trying to save someone who just fell off the boat, I would take off the thing that would make it hard for me to swim.
You know what I think? I hope that I'm never the person you're trying to save because I would fucking drown. I would drown right then and there while you're taking off your little Letterman jacket. Cooper.
You would take too long to save us, okay?
Yes. We'd be like, blah, 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 but he's like, I gotta take off my jacket. Hang on.
He didn't save anyone, and then he died.
It's the thought that counts.
An attempt was made.
So...
A for effort.
Yes.
So maybe he would have saved him if he... But it doesn't matter. He didn't want to be saved because that's the story.
He's in a scuba suit underneath there.
So Jake stays under and then stays at Sharon's parents' cottage to wait it out.
No, it's not the Letterman jacket that kills him. The girl goes in and kills him.
No, I know that.
Sorry.
That.
I just remembered that. So I was like, wait a minute. No.
I like how heated we're getting.
All right. So Sharon went to the cabin to kill Jake for what happened to Kirk, apparently, and then set fire to the cabin. But it really was Alice.
Oh, that song? Sorry, no.
Oh, that song.
Okay, because set fire to the rain, except to the cabin,
I don't know.
It's like Adele or something, right? Like, is it? I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. So, Alice leaves the police station and gets grabbed. She comes to tied to a chair in a classroom. So this happened in the boathouse in the original book. Mm. Jake is there with a gun. Says, "How'd you know?" And she says, he says, "I'll tell you what I know and you'll fill in the blanks." So Sharon actually came to tell Jake that they have to come clean. Put the pomade back in the tin. Okay, if you're going to choose an era, choose the era. They're not drinking Zima and talking about pomade. This is not Dapper Dan era.
Maybe it was the Dapper Day and they were
no
Disney.
No, it was not. This is just a bad storyteller.
She was trying her best to not have angel porn. So
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, great. You know what? I didn't like this Pike book, but his was a lot better than her story.
Oh, I think hers is more fun.
Oh, my God.
I had a great time.
Okay, so there's a Molotov thrown through the window. Jake was under the water in the bath with apparently his scuba tank outside the bath, despite the fact that there was fire. So, yeah. Snuck to the dentist office to switch his records, which again reminds us of this thing that we didn't know, that her dad was a dentist. We knew that if we read the book. Sharon told Alice about the plan, but also Jake found a toothpick. So he knew that it was Alice.
Didn't he find the toothpick like outside of the cabin or whatever too, like in the bushes?
In the bushes. I don't know.
That part got me. I was laughing.
So Alice did the photocopying. Alice knocked Kirk out under the water because Kirk and Jake were together. So this is but here's why. Because he gave me something I'll always have. Herpes, a cold sore. And the study room is just as incredulous at this twist. She killed him because he gave her herpes. And Sandra's like, yes, it's an STD. Yeah. Yeah.
This is the funniest shit, dude. That book is just...
So, I mean, that was a ridiculous twist in the book. Yes. But this is also part of her apology to Spence, who has a real STD.
Yep.
And then here's the worst part, okay? Alice breaks away from the chair somehow. She literally breaks the chair. Jake shoots her, and Alice says, I'm just an angel looking for wings like anyone else in the city. Forget it, Jake. It's Murder Town, which young people may not know is a Chinatown reference. And just throws out endless cliche film noir references. And then there are angel versions of Jake and Sharon there. Angels. Because angel porn.
Dude, Sandra's a fucking mess. I love it.
She is a mess, and so is this fucking story.
I love it. At the
And
end,
then she apologizes to Spence on her behalf and on the behalf of anyone who loves God.
Is that when he kisses the forehead?
Yes.
I found it to be sweet, though. Like, she was really trying, okay?
She was really trying. Yes, you're right. She was trying. She was just really, really bad at it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bad at things, too, and we don't hate me.
No, but I think there's a certain point that you should, as a person and self-aware person, should get to where you're just like, wow, I've tried this a lot, and this just does not work.
And maybe I shouldn't write a story about someone who's crazy because they have an STD.
Yeah.
Because that is what Gimme a Kiss is about. And not use the phrase, give me a kiss, in your Gimme a Kiss adaptation titled Gimme a Kiss.
Wait, what?
Remember, the point of the title was Gimme a Kiss because I have herpes.
Yeah.
Cooper's so
but
bad.
she didn't use the title as a line of dialogue.
No, listen, that title was in the journal. It was in Jake's journal. He was writing it because the other guy grabbed him and was like, give me a kiss. And then they had their first kiss. He wrote that in his journal entry.
Yes, but that is why she's crazy, because of Gimme a Kiss.
Yeah, but she's crazy because she's a little nuts, Cooper. Like she just went a little woo woo off the deep end.
Right.
She's just not right. There's something not right about her. I don't know what it is.
Okay, yeah, fine, whatever. Terrible. So Spence puts Anya in the elevator. She shoos him away, and she takes more morphine and is really out of it.
Honestly, that was so concerning to me because I would never have left any person alone.
I know, right.
I don't want to know because I thought we were about to watch her die in this moment at this time so too. Because of that. Yeah. Like I was just like, oh fuck, they're gonna find her in the elevator now, dead.
So instead, though, Ilonka and Kevin hang back. I'm sorry about the prom. You deserve better than that. I love you, but I'm not saying it.
I'd show you a better prom, boy.
Honestly, my favorite part about what you just said was the weird, deep voice you used for it. Because that was Ilonka saying that to Kevin in your mind, right?
That's my sexy voice in my head.
Oh, that's your sexy voice.
That's the voice when, like, if you're like a dude like coming on to somebody that you don't know, like in a bar or anywhere, like literally anywhere. That's the voice you got to use. You're just like, hey there, lady. It's kind of like Johnny Bravo now that I think about it, and I don't know why and what that says about me.
I don't know. Now it sounds like when Butthead gets all sexy, like.
Oh, hey, God, baby. You're right. It's like a combination of Butthead and Johnny Bravo.
It's
my dream.
Really
man.
Interesting where your sexy voice goes, Cassie. Yeah. That says some interesting things that we're not going to delve into right now.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
So Ilonka finally fucking realizes the Dewey Decimal thing.
And it's a revelation for her. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. But then has no fucking idea how to use the Dewey Decimal System because she wanders around the entire downstairs floor of the library instead of going to one side, which is where Dewey Decimal starts. Like, if you're in the 600s, 500s come before that. That's how it works.
That's how numbers work, indeed.
That's how, yeah. So Kevin finds the book. It is a journal, right? It's a journal? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
We don't learn that yet. I mean, Kevin finds the book.
Oops.
It has the hourglass on it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 indeed. Then we jump to Anya, very medicated, who's driving herself past the intercom in the recovery room. So she's on the whole wrong floor. She hears something behind her. She's panicking. We don't know what it is. She goes to her room, still crying. She's still here. She's still alive, but the living shadow is there. And this is a really effective moment. because she sees her shadow on the wall, and then her shadow gets up. And it starts as her, but then turns into some sort of skeleton thing, I guess.
A shadow figure.
A shadow figure. It is very creepy. I will give this episode that. Well done. Kevin and Ilonka rush back to her room and find Anya's chair toppled over, and then credits. So that's our episode. So we don't have any real titillation and sexuality, but we do have some moralizing on the part of both the story, because herpes, and a little moralizing feel like Sandra does not feel like she's 100% on board with the sexuality. I don't know. It feels a little judgy, but maybe not. So let's move on to best and worst moments. So I'm going to let you two go first. What are your favorite moments from the episode?
Give me a kiss. I'm sorry.
So the story, the
I was
way it was
kind
shot.
of messing with you, Cooper.
Oh, okay.
With the robot voice, that was even better.
Right,
You sound like you're eating technology.
That's weird. So, Becca?
I personally, and I again get what you're going on with, but I did like when Sandra and Spence had their moment at the end where you like kissed her forehead. I did find that to be quite sweet, because she really, I see it as she was trying her best.
She
Did she do
is
it right?
trying.
No.
Yeah.
But she's trying. But also, I think my other favorite part, and this is the last one I'm going to say, is the very end where, like, Anya's having her, like, breakdown, and she's like, I'm still here, and then the shadow happens. Because that was A+ spooky.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
totally. That is
So
is definitely my favorite part of the episode.
That was a good one.
How about you, Cassie?
I liked when she was trying to make her joke about downers, and then she interrupted herself and was just like, "Oh fuck, that didn't work. The joke didn't work."
That was a good one.
I like that.
Anya realizes that she's on sometimes, and she's not sometimes. I think. and I continue to love her character. She is my favorite.
Yeah, me too. I did actually like the Gimme a Kiss. It made me like the book more, just because I hated the book, and it was all noir and like cool and black and white and fun, like detective-y. It was fun.
I love when shows do a fun little thing like that, like when they play around with it, kind of like WandaVision in the beginning of that show.
Yes, they have like episodes like that in Charm. They have episodes in
totally
Supernatural.
WandaVision committed to what it was doing, and then this show didn't.
Cooper, you asked me my favorite.
Okay, I know. I'm jumping ahead. My least favorite thing.
Yes.
Is that fucking story in this episode. My least favorite thing of the whole series I've watched so far was that story in this episode.
I honestly don't think I have a least favorite part.
I know. I
love fun.
You love fun. Come on. It's not that I don't like fun. Ugh. You too.
Oh, my least favorite was how long it took them to figure out the Dewey Decimal System, and then how big of a deal they made when they finally did it.
Also that. Like, great, you
part.
understand the way you use the library in 1994. Great.
My least favorite is Ilonka's crescent moon.
Oh my god, yes! That was a good one.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's wrap this episode up and put a bow on it so we can move on, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do last act, final thoughts, ratings out of 5 pikes, and I do have your previous ratings up here if you need them. So, who wants to go first? Or should I go first this time?
Yeah,
I haven't gone first.
You never do.
Okay. I'm going to give this 2. 2 pikes.
Yikes.
2 pikes. Because it made me angry. The whole thing, and they're both bottles of Zima. Yeah. That's what I'm giving this. 2 pikes.
He's just throwing them at the show, at the TV.
It is lucky it gets 2. Because usually when Pike angers me this much, I give it lower ratings.
That's true.
But the stuff with Spence, The AIDS stuff was very affecting, and I was impressed by that. And it's kind of it. Yeah. I give this 2 pikes, but really Spence's story is the only one that hit me until Anya at the end.
Right.
So, yeah. Spence and Anya won the 2 pikes. Or bottles of Zima. Yeah. So, Cassie, how about you?
I will give this one. Okay, I'm gonna give it 3 pikes with a half that is breathing apparatus sticking outside of the bathtub in a fire, and so it's still a half, but it honestly, like, it shouldn't have been there.
It's a half that threatens to blow up your 3 pikes.
It does. Yeah. This. So I feel like I keep saying this, and I know that will change just because I have seen the rest of the show. This also feels like a lot of setup and build up, and I do feel like the little bits are necessary. But the way the stories are, the way the show gets told at this point, I'm more invested and more interested in the actual adaptations in story form than what's going on for them, and that's just because it's so much setup in that respect that they haven't given me anything yet to be really into. And I know even with maybe the next episode that's going to change, but currently I at this episode I'm like, man, I wish I had each episode was a full length adaptation of the book so I could just watch that, because that would be so much fun. And my favorite part of each thing are the stories. But it's not, I don't hate it. It wasn't like super boring. There's some necessary stuff. It wasn't my favorite so far.
No. How about you, Becca?
I am gonna give
like fun, we know.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it 3 horribly drawn crescent moons.
Oh my god.
And then I'm gonna give it a 3.75. So the 0.75 is in Ilonka's sketchbook. See this whole sentence. The 3.
Wow.
The 3 is the
So your rating is entirely dependent on the thing you didn't like about the episode, which is interesting.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a silver lining. She's making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah. Yes.
She's like, how can I spin this ugly ass crescent moon, if that's what you want to call it, into
That's
something
fair.
Presentable?
Right. So I think my solid is a 3.75 because it wasn't bad. That's literally the only thing I have on this. It wasn't a bad episode.
Okay.
You said, Cooper, really, it was very impactful, the Spence's story. It was also interesting because they had that argument at the group meeting, and then you find out later, like, why it was really, really hurting him was because he has that lesion on his arm.
Yeah.
I mean, he was upset to begin with, but the point, like, I feel like that, like, kind of pushed his anger even more because he was going through some shit. And I like how they did that, and I like Gimme a Kiss because it was fun, and I love fun.
That's true. That's fair.
That's fair, yeah.
Can I just one thing too, just on the off chance the girl who plays Ilonka is watching or listening to this ever. Look, we all start somewhere with our crescent moons, and I think this doesn't mean you throw in the towel. This just means you pick back up the pencil and you go for it again and again until it's actually a crescent moon and not a weird open-ended butt thing, because the lines are never going to connect with the way that they were facing.
No,
it was never going to be a moon. No,
parallel lines don't connect. Yeah.
In all seriousness, too, I do want to say that I feel like they're probably just like watching her with a camera, and they're just like, scribble the moon. And so, look, I'm genuinely not judging her artistic talent as a human.
Very likely the other drawings were not done by this actress.
No, absolutely. And I draw almost every day. And if somebody put a camera on me and was like, draw this crescent moon in GB, I'd be like, squiggle, like what? So I'm as much as we've harped on it, I'm not actually like hating on it or anything. Like, it's whatever. Right. I don't care. It's just a little thing that I was like, let me see her draw. And then you show it to me. I'm like, wait, no, let me not see that ever again. It's like, the really inappropriate, it's like, take it off, put it back on, like that, but with her drawing.
I mean, I'm not, it's Ilonka's drawing, not the actress, No.
I
blame Ilonka.
Okay. Also, to be fair, like, maybe she was possessed or something at that moment. We don't know what's happening.
Yeah, we don't. That's true.
Anything wild could have happened.
Could have been
that wasn't
possessed.
Fully her.
You're right.
Yeah. And so maybe it's not her moon. I don't want to hate on her for the moon. It's whatever.
You're right. And,
maybe it's
it's interesting that Cassie said maybe she's possessed.
Yeah.
I feel like spoiler Cassie knows she isn't possessed. and is just throwing that out there.
I was
as an
genuinely
excuse.
just picking a random fucking thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm confident that Ilonka will not be turned out to have been possessed.
I was
in
just
this
trying to
episode.
explain the moon, Cooper.
I'm confident. Just to explain a terrible drawing of a fucking crescent moon.
Yes. Can you imagine if like somebody on the show, it wasn't even her or the actress that's her, it was just somebody totally different. It was just like, yeah, I can do the moon scene, no problem. She's busy. And we're just like harping on it for half the episode, and they're just like, fucking God, my life now. Like
honestly, if anyone from the show is listening, because it's possible, because they are aware of our podcast, I'm impressed that we were able to get this at all. And I'm thankful that we were able to get a Christopher Pike adaptation at all.
Hard same.
So my grumpiness about it does not dissuade the fact that we were able to get it at all. So
moon or no moon, we love the show.
Moon or no moon, thank
Well,
you for bringing us a Christopher Pike adaptation.
Yes, it's definitely a solid show for sure.
Yeah. So
I'm vibing. I love
let's wrap that up then for this episode. By Becca, tell us where we can find more of you online.
Yeah. So I can be found at Read with Bex on Instagram where I talk about books. I have noticed that people have been following me at As Told by Bex, which is totally fine. That's my personal account, but like totally follow it. It's fine.
I think that's my fault because I do tag you at As Told by Bex.
I noticed that. I'm like, that's weird that people want this account because I'm kind of lame, but like, thank you. I would love to be your friend. Twitter, I'm at As Told by Bex. And TikTok, I'm at As Told by Bex, where I again talk about books. And my sister and I just opened up an Etsy shop, which is Leaping Lily Creations, and we sell book sleeves, and I have drawn a couple stickers.
Awesome. Cassie, how about you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ControlAltCassie. It's CTRLALTCASSIE. I had a Bookstagram, but I recently deactivated because it's too much stress and I don't want to have multiple accounts anymore. So that is the only place you'll find me, one username, except for Patreon, which is patreon.com/letsgetgalactic. And then also my Etsy, which is shopletsgetgalactic.com. And you can buy my books, my stickers, my bookmarks, my art. Please buy my things because I'm moving and I need to get rid of them. I need them out of my house.
And they're awesome. So not just to help her move.
Yes.
They are awesome and rainbow and spooky. So like if Lydia Dietz was a rainbow.
Yes.
That's Cassie.
Like
so if you like that.
If that's your vibe.
If that's your vibe, go to her store and buy stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Also, I put free things in order. So I'll give you stickers and there's like a little card, all kinds of stuff. Just buy my stuff. It's like the one show, buy my book, buy my art and my books.
Well, you can find me at coopersbeckett.com. You can find my books at coopersbeckett.com. And I am also on the social medias at coopersbeckett.com. Not .com.
No, I know. Sorry. It just sounded so unfinished without it that time.
I know, it does. It really does. That's why it throws me off, like, completely.
You did good. If not for me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Cassie, where can they find our show?
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at the PikeCast, and we'd really like it if you would tag us. Show us your books. Show us your Christopher Pike reactions to the shows. Show us your T-shirts if you got them. We would like to see them. Use the hashtag #ShowUsYourPike. And you can also support us on Patreon, which will get you early access to our episodes, stickers and bookmarks, and you'll get access to our Discord, where all of our guests have access to as well. So if you want to talk to them or talk to each other, it's like a fun little Christopher Pike club, and you are all invited. Was that creepy? Did I get creepy?
That was super cute.
No.
I put my arms up for a hug, and I was like, this is weird.
Nobody's seen that part, so it wasn't creepy until you said it. So.
I'm so glad we don't have a webcam, because the actual movements I do throughout our whole thing is so funny. Like, I talk with my hands so much.
I love that.
And we wanted to thank Axel Carolyn, director of 2 episodes of the Midnight Club that we haven't seen yet. 2 episodes we haven't seen, still upcoming, because she put up a picture on her Instagram showing her wearing the PikeCast shirt, I Read Christopher Pike, on set with the cast of the Midnight Club, which was very exciting to see.
That's amazing. Yeah. The show has breached the set.
Yeah, it's a weird sort of things coming together. Yeah.
It's like in Hackers, and they're just like, we're in.
Yeah, no, yes.
That is my favorite old movie thing. I love it.
So, Pikers, your homework for next week is episode 5. See you later. Until next time, Pikers, pleasant dreams. You survived the night, friends. You can peek out from under your covers and see the first blues of dawn out the window. Thanks for spending the night with the PikeCast, and we hope you'll join us again next time. Until then, Pikers, pleasant dreams. Well, let's get to the podcast.
Speaking of death.
Yeah. And you couldn't progress. Yeah, I had games where, like the Black Cauldron Sierra Adventure game, there was one spot I couldn't get past, so I had to go and buy this little book that was the guide for it. But you remember those pens that would reveal stuff behind them?
Yeah.
So all the questions you could see, but the answers you had to reveal.
How annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really quick. I know it's a side thing. I got to tell you my story now about the video game. Okay, so when I was a little kid, I got Scooby-Doo video game for like Super Nintendo, I think it was, or something.
Okay.
And I was playing. I was so excited. I love Scooby-Doo. Also, I told you the other day I like Shrek. I love Scooby-Doo. So Scooby-Doo and Shrek are my two, like, I fucking love those. Also Minions. Again, Minions. I just love them. They're so funny to me. Okay, anyways. So I was playing this game, little kid. I'm so excited. I'm like, oh shit, this is the best game. Scooby-Doo. I'm playing it. Anyways, there's a point very early into the game where I get stuck. I don't know where to go. I asked my mom for help. She doesn't play anything other than like Bubble Bobble. So she's like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And so she leaves me alone. And so I pick up the phone and I call because it's the only thing I can find is the number on the video game cartridge, which is like the Nintendo phone number at the time. So I call them. They transfer me because I'm like, hi, I need help with this video game. A small child on the phone. And they're like, okay, well, and so they look up the game. They're like, okay, Scooby-Doo, this game, it was in this issue of our Nintendo magazine or whatever. And I was like, okay.
Sure.
So they transfer me to the magazine department. The magazine department's on the phone with me for like 15 minutes selling me a magazine subscription so I can get this one magazine sent to my house. So I go to my mom's room and I'm like, I need your credit card information. And she's like, what? And so I'm like, just trust me, I really need this. And she's like, what is this for? So we go through this whole thing and finally, I don't know why she agrees. I mean, to this day, I don't know why she gave me her credit card, but I gave them the information. I waited 4 to 6 weeks for this thing. I could not progress. I tried multiple times and I could not get past this level in Scooby-Doo. I wait for this magazine to come. I get the magazine. I'm so fucking excited. This is like the best day of my life. I'm like, finally, it's going to give me the answer I need so I know where to go. It's a fucking magazine that has a small snippet on a page of a review of the game. Yeah. That's all. That's the only mention in the entire magazine. And they were just like, yeah, we're going to sell this to you, you little idiot. And I could not progress to this day. I got so mad. I'm pretty sure I just threw it into a box and never looked at the game cartridge again because I went through so much and waited like over a month.
I feel like you just unlocked a memory for me, because, like, I definitely played a Scooby-Doo game growing up, and I don't know if it's the same one, because all I can remember is, like, sandwiches.
Was it side-scrolling, and there was, like, a circus or something, and, like, tents?
I can't remember.
Oh, man, I can never...
I do feel like it was Super Nintendo days, though. I definitely feel like it was Super Nintendo.
That game and Myst. I played Myst. I tell Rich all the time, I'm like, I really wish I could play Myst. He's like, you can find it on Steam. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I don't know how the game works. I wish I could play it. Like, I want to know how to play it because when I try, I can never progress. Like, I just think it's so cool, but I don't know how to do it. It doesn't make sense to me when I try. I just stare at this well for like an hour and I'm like, what do I do? There's books on the walls around me and I don't know where to go. And like, it's just so fucking stupid sometimes. Anyways, can you imagine how I would have done with a game that gave me barely any directions, no prompts, and I had to figure it out on my own?
I would have given up pretty quickly.
I would have never played video games. I can't believe you did it, Cooper.
Oh, well, I mean, I got frustrated. I was also like 8 at this point when I was playing these video games.
They expected an 8-year-old to figure that out?
Well, no, they didn't expect anyone to figure it out. Games were made for adults back then.
8-year-old Cooper was smarter than 31-year-old me.
Yeah, dude.
Well, no, I didn't say I figured it out. I just understand how it works now.
I feel like I would just type a bunch of like inappropriate things and just laugh when it was like, I don't know what that is.
Well, like, see, the game designers often knew that trick and would put little Easter eggs in to criticize you for doing that.
That game still do stuff like that, and I love that. That's funny.
You would be insulted by a video game, like,
I would.
stop.
Yes. It would be like, really? You typed boobs? That's all you can think to do? You don't want to progress at all? And I'm like, haha, boobs.
One of my favorite ones is from the Space Quest series, and you had the option to lick. And I said lick sewer. And the game said, well, it doesn't taste great because it was a sewer grate.
That's
Oh
so
my
cute.
god, that's so funny.
It was great. I
How
loved
clever.
it. Yeah.
And so was the screen just black? I'm just curious.
At that point, there were graphics and everything, and you could click on things, but you still had to choose what you wanted to do and what you wanted to do it with.
But when you were 8, the screen was black.
No. That was before me. I wasn't playing video games when Adventure came out, which was the black screen.
Oh, I
one.
see. So but did you ever play that?
Yeah.
And
it was black, yeah. Actually, there was a website not too long ago that did a procedurally generated version of that.
I feel like all the people who are older than me that are listening to us are going to be like, why is she spending so long on this concept? I'm like, this is wild to me. They stared at a black screen and typed in random words and hoped for the best, and that was called a video game? What?
Well, they just called them games then because there was no video aspect.
Did they have board games?
It was a Yes, you had board games. Come on.
No, I just want to
been around for so long, bro.
That's what, look, come on. I thought I did, but I just wanted to make sure then. How did they differentiate? Like, would they just say, I want to go play games, and you would know if it was like the black screen game or the Monopoly game?
What you would say is, can you believe it? I have a personal computer, and look, I can do more than type stuff and put stuff in spreadsheets. I can play a game on it.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
I can hear those 12 packets of sugar talking, Cassie. I love
sorry,
it.
I'm just imagining it. I cannot believe it. I have a personal computer and I can do more than spreadsheets. Look at my black screen game.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. It's amazing how far we've come with technology and video
It really
games.
is.
That's wild.
To be clear, it was as close to Dungeons and Dragons as you could get for a computer.
That's the vibe I was
Because
getting.
when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you tell the dungeon master, I want to do this, and then he tells you if you can.
Yeah, but like they can be like, you're like, oh, I want to do this random thing. It's like, all right, roll for this. But it's like, oh, I want to do this random thing. I do not know what those words mean. Like,
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's like a little bit different. I feel like. Do you like my robot voice?
I like your robot voice. Computers have come a long way.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Sorry. I
But
had
speaking of coming a long way, we have not in this episode.
No. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. It's just I had the concept of these. I just didn't know fully what they were. But maybe I'll have some questions for you later.
So listeners, feel free to comment on this episode with all your experience. I hope I'm not the only one who played these old games.
I just want to make it clear, I'm not making fun of it. I think it's wild that we can play video games now as they are, and then that's how it started. So that's just what I'm like.
That is exactly
I'm not insulting anybody, not saying, haha, like people are old for playing this or anything like that. Like, I just think it's like wild as a concept that was a thing. So we can move on anyways. Me and Amesh with the PlayStation. Yeah.
So, wait, Amesh doesn't have a PlayStation yet.
No.
Let's
because he was crying in the one episode about it. He was like,
okay.
No.
No. You can take that out.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I wasn't spoiling.
I got confused. I'm sorry.
Calm down, both of you.
How many sugars did Becca have?
I don't know.
I take 2 sugars in my coffee, which is
Are you
different.
kidding? 2?
You know,
Okay.
12 sugars.
Hey.
Sorry.
Let's just talk about the episode for like 5 minutes, okay?
Okay, 5 minutes and then we're back.
Okay.
I thought you said liquid, he closes his eyes, and I was like, what? What the hell is that?
Maybe I did say that, I don't know.
That's like the female version of sploosh.
Oh, God. I don't actually know what sploosh means, but I could just hear that and be really grossed out, so...
I can tell you what sploosh means.
No, I mean, is it rated R? Because, I don't know. Or NC-17 or whatever the hell it is.
I think NC-17 at least, Becca. But it is very sweet that you don't know.
Is it NC-17 or R worse?
I think
NC-17 is more adult.
Like, that seems cornish.
Wait, why is that more adult when it has 17 in it?
No children under 17 allowed. R is children under 17 allowed only with a parent or guardian.
Can you watch pornography at the age of 17 then? Like, can you buy it? I mean, I guess you can watch it at any age because you can.
Or is it 17 and under?
Well, I mean, here's the thing about NC-17. It's rarely real pornography. Like, you might get a little extra nudity in it, but it's rarely, like, anything beyond that.
Okay.
What is the rating of actual?
So here's the thing.
X?
So in the 80s, there was the X rating.
Okay.
And the other ratings were all trademarked. So the MPAA owns the other ratings. So if I released a movie, I couldn't just put an R rating on it.
Wait.
But X wasn't trademarked. So
the ratings are trademarked still? So if you release a movie, you don't rate it?
No, you have to submit it in order to get a rating.
Is that how games work too?
Yes.
Who decides? Not the companies that make it, right? Like a third party?
No, a third party rates it, yeah.
I had no idea. Okay.
So,
I'm learning so much today. Wow.
The X rating, because they weren't using it much, they didn't bother with. So then movies started to rate themselves X. And they found that it was popular. You know, and movies were rated X. Like Midnight Cowboy is probably the most famous X-rated movie. It won Best Picture. So it happens. But then the porn industry decided, well, what's better than X? Triple X. So they started releasing movies triple X. And because of that, the MPAA is like, well, shit. Now they took our rating, and now we have no adult movies. So they introduced NC-17 as the solution. But since it was to replace X, most movie theaters and most newspapers wouldn't print ads for NC-17 movies because they assume they're just porn, which they're not. And yeah, that's the history of the MPAA rating system. For
so NC-17
movies.
is just the same rating system as R and all those?
No, NC-17 just means it's more adult than R.
No, I know, but I mean, it's the same peoples who made those.
Yes, the MPAA.
And then the X's are different peoples who decide their own X's.
Yes. So like anyone can say my movie's rated X.
Even if it's like a kid's movie, you can just say it.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. It literally means nothing.
So, okay, I could say G is part of that. And wait, what does G stand for? General?
General audiences.
Oh my God. Okay, so then I could just be like, my movie is rated L. Is that a thing? Is L one?
L is not a rating, no.
Okay, so I can say my movie's rated L for lovely.
Language. Lovely.
Oh.
Lovely.
Yeah.
My movie is lovely. Aw.
That is so good.
But no, that's the thing though. Then it's like bloody and gory and gross.
My God, funny.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I can say whatever I want. That's what I'm trying to make sure.
Yes,
I can say
you
anything.
You can say whatever you want.
I won't get sued for lying is what I'm asking. Okay.
I mean, some people find murder and gore lovely. So
that's true.
I think it works.
And maybe the packaging's very cute. Like, who knows?
Yeah, like a little kawaii looking thing. Oh my God.
Yes.
Get on it. I'm waiting.
So this has been your PikeCast educational moment.
I love
talking about
Thank you.
I love that.
MPAA ratings.
Every episode we should have like a little educational moment, and sometimes it's about how gross milk is, and sometimes it's about ratings. And
well, today I've taught you both about the history of adventure video games and ratings.
We got a double whammy in this episode.
Yeah.
I can't believe they started with just black screens. It's wild. Just hand me a book at that point. Come on.
Right.
A lot of people just did read that.
That's fair,
yeah. I mean, I love video games, so I don't want them to go away, but at the same time, I wish people read more.
Okay, let's get back to the episode here.
Your homework assignment for next week is to read a book. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm movie.
With the horror of the PikeCast, did you say?
I said more. I don't know.
More.
What the hell? What's
horror.
going on?
I was like, this one's not even that scary. No, horror.
Okay,
horror. More.
I was like, wait, what direction is Cooper taking this?
Oh my God.
No,
who's the horror of the PikeCast? Me and Becca just standing to the side like, what?
That's what I thought she said that you said.
Oh God.
Okay.
We're a mess.
Deep breaths, everybody.
Okay, I got a drink of water in me. I think I'm good.
I'm going to drink some more of my coffee.
Yeah, that's a good idea.